Hey, so I've got Matt Capell and Justin Phipps here. So Justin's gonna say hi.
Hello, hello.
So a lot of times people want to pull off their own baseboard to save some money. As you can see here, we're going to be replacing some vinyl in this room today. So Justin's just going to give you a few tips on making it a success when you pull off baseboard. So
right here we've got the gadgets that you'll need. A good sharp utility knife, a good little crowbar of some sort. This is a really stiff putty knife. Actually got a little bit of a beveled edge on that. Really like this guy. Good pair of pliers for pulling out some nails. Get your Sharpie or a writing stick of some sort so you can number the base. You want to put a number on the back of the base, a number on the wall. So once you get it off, I'm going to put it back on. You know exactly where that piece went.
it's not a huge puzzle then, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
And then a hammer. So first step, you actually want to score this line right here. This base has been caulked to the wall. If you don't do that, when you go and pull it off, you're going to rip up your sheetrock. So we don't want to do that. Just get a good score line everywhere. Sometimes I'll go over it just a couple times to make sure you got it good.
And this also makes it a lot easier to pry it off too, correct?
Yeah. And then
It's almost like popping a seal, right?
It is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, then take your putty knife and you can kind of see where you've scored it. You can kind of tap that down in there. You'll see it start to get some separation. So if you have a good stiff putty knife, you can kind of pull on it a little bit, help start pulling that away.
Yeah. I say, because it's a flimsy one, it'll just bend, right?
Yeah. And this one's designed where you can tap on the back of it with a hammer.
Oh, good.
So once you start getting that, you can get your crowbar in there. You can start prying. You want to just go slow and gentle. And these smaller pieces are actually harder than the big long ones. And these corners sometimes, it's hard to know which way they've done it. Sometimes they'll miter the corner to a 45 and they die together. These ones have been coved, so you put one piece of base on and the other piece is scribed to go to it. But it's hard to know which side went on first. Typically in your big rooms, I find more often than not they installed the base from left to right. So if you take it off, go from right to left, then you're going backwards and you're not fighting those corners so much. But this one's just going to be a mystery till we find out which side's on top. It's actually the little guy on top. So we'll try this one.
So that's part of the reason why you go slow and you're careful in the corners, so that way you can kind of make that discovery without breaking the corner to...
Absolutely.
And if by chance you do break a piece a little bit, there's Bondo, right? Bondo works
you can
great.
usually glue them back together. A little Bondo if you need to, and fix them up. So this guy, and so one thing with the pry bar, you've got it in here. If I just go prying up right here, I'm going to punch a hole in the sheetrock right here. If you get that putty knife down behind it, then you can pry on that wall.
Kind of reinforces it a little bit, huh?
And it's not going to punch a hole in the wall.
Gotcha.
So we got that first little guy off of there. Let's just caulk in there. So you got that first little guy off. And I always like to get these nails out of the way. And again, you can throw the putty knife behind there. Pry those out so you don't bust up the sheetrock.
Yeah.
So once I get those out of the way, then when I go to pry this guy off, it doesn't hit the nail and block it, so it just keeps it freed up.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And then once you get it started, You just get this guy down there. You want to get it down low, so you're prying down in there if you can.
Otherwise, it's more apt to break in half, right?
Yeah, you can break your base or punch a hole in the sheetrock. So there you are. And then usually when you have space, the hammer works great for popping the nails out. I prefer to pop them out rather than just hammer them back in. Sometimes in a tight corner, you have to hammer it back in. But I just like to get them out of there.
And then another thing too is before you put this back on, you have to...
Yeah, so I take, again, this stiff putty knife.
Yeah.
You can run it right down the back, clean off that caulking line. Zip right along the top edge a little bit, just kind of cleans that right up, and then you put it back on, you don't have a bunch of old caulk sticking up everywhere making a mess. So,
all right.
And then you put a number on the back of here. I think I left the number 18. Put a number 18 right there. And then it's not a mystery. You go to put it back in place.
Save you a ton of time, huh?
Ton of time.
Because if you don't do that, it becomes a very difficult puzzle.
Especially if lots of little pieces, corners and stuff. So
cool.
Hope that's helpful for you guys.
Yeah. No, thank you, Justin. All right. If you have any questions, just comment below, and we'll respond to you.
Yeah.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Much.